Welcome to my English class. Welcome to Nalda Secondary Online School, Nalda Fokirat Bakirat. How are you, my dear students? I am fine. I think that you are also fine by the grace of Almighty Allah. Before starting my class, let me introduce myself. This is A. Shukur Ali Khan, Assistant Teacher English, Nalda Secondary School, Bakerhat. Preparation made for class 10, topic adverbs, English second paper. So let us start our class. Learning outcomes of the lesson. At the end of the lesson, the SS will be able to know how to adverbs modify. How to adverbs modify. What adverbs modify? At first we know what adverbs modify. Verbs. People handle old violins carefully. Adjective, very old violins are valuable. Adverbs, orchestras almost always include violins. An adverb may tell how or in what manner an action is done. It may tell when or how often an action is done. It may also tell whether or in what direction an action is done. So we know that verbs, adjective, adverb. An adverb may tell how or in what manner an action is done. It may tell when or how often an action is done. It may also tell where or in what direction an action is done. That's adverbs modify. Adverbs that modify verbs. At first we know adverbs that modify verbs. Adjectives are words that modify nouns and pronouns. Adverbs are another type of modifiers. They modify verbs, adjective and other adverbs. An adverb is a word that modifies a verb, an adjective or another adverb. My dear students, I again repeat it. Adjective are words that modify nouns and pronouns. Nouns and pronouns. Adverbs are another types of modifier. They modify verbs, adjective and other adverbs. We called it adverbs modify verb, adjective and other adverbs. An adverb is a word that modifies a verb, an adjective and another adverbs. With adverbs modify verbs. Adverbs tell how, when, where. How? Example: grandly, easily, completely, neatly, gratefully, sadly. When? Soon, now, immediately, often, never, usually, early. Where? Here, there, everywhere, inside, downstairs, above, far, etc. With adverbs modifies verb, we know that how, when, where. When an adverb modifies an adjective or another adverb, the adverb usually comes before the word it modifies. When an adverb modifies a verb, the adverb can occupy a different position in a sentence. I again repeat it, my dear students. When an adverb modifies an adjective or another adverb, the adverb usually comes before the word it modifies. When an adverb modifies a verb, the adverb can occupy different position in a sentence. Position of adverbs modifying verbs: before the verb, after the verb, at the beginning, at the end. My dear students, I again repeat it. Position of adverbs modifying verbs: before the verbs, after the verbs, at the beginning, at the end. Here is an example before the verb, such as gets often dine at the White House. Here often before the verb, that means dine verb, before the verb often. After the verb, guest dine after at the White House. Get guest dine often at the White House. Often, here often dine verb, subject dine verb, next often. At the beginning, often guest dine at the White House. At the end, example, guest dine at the White House often. Okay, my dear student, so we know that position of adverb modifying verb: before the verb, after the verb, at the beginning, at the end. Before the verb, after the verb, at the beginning, at the end. Okay, my dear students, many adverbs are formed by adding ly to adjective. However, not all words that ends in ly are adverbs. The words friendly, lively, kindly, lovely, and lonely are usually adjectives. On the other hand, not all adverbs in ly. Again repeat it. Many adverbs are formed by adding ly to adjectives. However, not all words that end in ly are adverbs. The words here, the words friendly, lively, kindly, lovely, and lonely are usually adjectives. On the other hand, not all adverbs end in ly. Okay, my dear students, some adverbs not ending in ly, such as after, word, already, always, anywhere, away, below, even, ever, everywhere, first, how, forever, hard, here, home, late, long, near, never, not, now, nowhere, often, outside, seldom, short, sometimes, somewhere, soon, straight, then, there, well. Adverbs modifying adjective and adverbs. Adverbs modifying adjective and adverb. An adverb can also modify an adjective or another adverb. Notice how adverbs affect the meaning of the adjective in the following sentences. Most often, they tell how or to what extent. Example, Harry Truman used extremely direct language. He became a very popular president. Here, extremely and popular. Okay, my dear students. In the first sentence, the adverb extremely modifies the adjective direct. Extremely tells to what extent Truman's language was direct. In the second sentence, the adverb very modifies the adjective popular. Very tells to what extent Truman was popular. In the first sentence, I again repeat in the first sentence, the adverb extremely modifies the adjective direct. Extremely tells to what extent Truman language was direct. In the second sentence, the adverb very modifies the adjective popular. Very tells to what extent Truman was popular. In the following sentences, adverb modifies other adverb. Example, Truman entered politics unusually late in life. Unusually, he moved through the political ranks quite quickly. In the first sentence, the adverb unusually modifies the adverb late. Usually tells how late Truman entered politics. In the second sentences, the adverb quite modifies the adverb quickly. Quite tells how quickly Truman moved through the ranks. When an adverb modifies an adjective or another adverb, the adverb almost always comes directly before the word it modifies. When an adverb modifies an adjective or another adverb, the adverb almost always comes directly before the word it modifies. On the following pages is a list of some adverbs that are often used to modify adjectives and other adverbs. Adverbs often used to modify adjective and other adverbs such as almost, barely, extremely, hardly, just, nearly, partly, quite, rather, really, so, somewhat, to, totally, totally, unusually, very. Comparative and superlative adverbs. The comparative form of an adverb compares an action with another. The superlative form of an adverb compares an action with several others. We know that the comparative form of an adverb compares an action with another. The superlative form of an adverb compares an action with several others. Most short adverbs add er to form the comparative and est to form the superlative. Most short adverbs add er to form the comparative and est to form the superlative. Here some example: comparative adverb with er and est. Comparative. Comprising adverb with er and est. Comparative. The paintist arrived earlier than the violinists. Superlative. The drummer arrived earliest of all the players. Okay, my dear students. Long adverb and a few short ones requires the useful of more and most. More and most. Comparing adverbs with more and most. Comparative. The violinist plays more often than the harpist. Superlative. Which musician play most often? Here, most often. Some adverbs have irregular comparative and superlative forms. Irregular comparative and superlative forms. Base form well, comparative better, superlative best. Badly, worse, worst. Little, less, least. Far, farther, farthest. Far, farther, farthest. Okay, my dear students, irregular, we know that irregular and comparative and superlative form by the end of the chart. The word less and least are used before adverbs to form the negative, comparative and superlative. Here is example. I play least well. I play least accurately. Don't use more, most, less or least before the adverbs that already end in er or est. Okay, my dear students, using adjective and adverbs, sometimes it's hand to decide whether a sentence needs an adjective or an adverb. Think carefully about how the word is used. Example, he is carefully with the anti-clock. He worked carefully on the anti-clock. Okay, my dear students, with the anti-clock, on the anti-clock. In the first sentence, the missing word follows a linking verb and modifies the subject he. Therefore, an adjective is needed. Careful is the correct choice. Okay, my dear students, in the second sentence, the missing word modifies the verb worked. Thus, an adverb is needed, and carefully is the correct choice. Okay, my dear students, the word good and well and the word bad and badly are sometimes confused. Good or bad are adjectives. Use them before nouns and after linking verbs. Well and badly are adverbs. Use them to modify verbs. Well may also be used as an adjective to mean healthy. You look well today. Again repeated, the words good and well and the words bad and badly are sometimes confused. Good and bad are adjectives. Use them before nouns and after linking verbs. Well and badly are adverbs. Use them to modify verbs. Well may also be used as an adjective to mean healthy. You look well today. Telling adjective from adverb. Adjective. The band sounds good. Adverb. The band plays well. Second example. The band sounds bad. The band plays badly. Adverb. Adjective. The soloist is well. Adverb. The soloist sings well. Use these modifiers correctly. Real and really, sure and surely, most and almost. Real and sure are adjectives. Really, surely and almost are adverbs. Most can be an adjective and adverb. Telling adjective from adverb. Adjective adverb. Music is real art. It's adjective, but adverb. This music is really popular. A pianist needs sure hands. Piano music is surely popular. Most piano have 88 keys. Piano strings almost never break. Here, real, sure, most is adjective. Are adjective, really, surely, almost adverb. Here we know correcting double negatives. The adverb not is a negative word expressing the idea of no. Not often appear in a short form as a part of a contraction. When not is part of a contraction, as in the words in the chart below, N apostrophe T, not is an adverb. Contraction with not, are not, aren't, cannot, can't, could not, couldn't, did not, didn't, do not, don't, does not, doesn't, had not, hadn't, has not, hasn't, have not, haven't, is not, isn't, should not, shouldn't, was not, wasn't, were not, weren't, will not, won't, would not, wouldn't. In all but two of these words, the apostrophe replaces the O in not. In can't, both an and the O are omitted. Will not becomes won't. Other negative words are listed in the following chart. Each negative word has several opposites. These are affirmative words or words that show the idea of yes. Some negative and affirmative words, never, scarcely, hardly, barely, negative form, affirmative, always, ever, nobody, negative, affirmative, anybody, everybody, somebody. Negative, no, none, affirmative, all, any, one, some. Negative, no one, affirmative, anyone, everyone, one, someone. Negative, nothing, affirmative, anything, something. Negative, nowhere, affirmative, anywhere, somewhere. Don't use two negative words to express the same idea. This is called a double negative. Only one negative word is necessary to express a negative idea. You can correct a double negative by removing one of the negative words or by replacing one of the negative words with an affirmative word. Example, incorrect, I don't have no homework. Correct, I have no homework. Correct, I don't have any homework. Homework, fill in the gaps. Truman used just a direct language. He become a dash popular president. Have dash homework. He worked dash on the antique clock. Dash tells how late Truman entered politics. Okay, my dear students. Thank you all. See you again. Allah Hafiz.